Excuse me.
I didn't come this far to turn around. I found my voice. I found my sound. I stand my ground. I won't break down. Still standing strong. Still here right now. This is my voice. Hear me rise. I was made for more. I won't be quiet. This is my time. This is my song. All your airplanes. All your airplanes. All your airplanes. Ooh, still standing strong. I know your name. I see your heart. We're not numbers. We never were. I'm still here. I'm irrelevant. I'm still alive. I'm irrelevant. I'm irrelevant. Say it out loud. I'm irrelevant. Say it out loud. Say it out loud.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Hang on one second because I have to finish a couple of nuts because I need some nuts. Sorry about that, but we ate something after my biopsy, but I didn't feel like eating anything after that. Now I just got a little bit of a hankering for something, so I just got myself some nuts while that song was on, and I have two more. Okay. All done. Hold on one sec. My coffee's too hot. I warmed my coffee up because there was a little bit left, and now it's too hot. But let me say hello anyway. Hello. Okay. Sorry for the nut. Hi, Julianne Gonzalez. Hi to Scooter. Hi, Chrissy. Hello, Tree Dog. Hi. Hello, Linda. What happened? Oh, Chrissy's calling Scooter dear. Nice. Sassy Darcy, hello. Okay, so I've got to get us changed. I just changed my ice packs and stuff. I'm supposed to, I don't even feel these ice packs, but she gave me like a little bit of gauze. And I have to keep changing them out. I didn't take any Tylenol. I didn't take any, knock on wood, I don't feel any pain. So I don't like Tylenol, and that's the only thing I can take, as she said, is Tylenol, because not that I had bleeding. She said I didn't really have bleeding, but ibuprofen can make you bleed, I guess. So, but I don't like what Tylenol does to your liver, and I'm a very anti-Tylenol person. So I'm not taking any Tylenol, and knock on wood, I don't have any pain. So that's good. Okay, so let's see. We got some things to discuss today. We have Tanner Horner. Did anybody watch the trial today? They again had his special education. I listened on the way up. They had his special education teacher on. They had another speech pathologist on. They had a friend who met him, I believe, in elementary school, and then they dated for a little bit in high school or junior high. I mean, it is the craziest cast of people that they are bringing in. It's really crazy. They had a preacher on today. I'm trying to think who else. So, yeah. And I mean, it's a lot of just craziness, but I will tell you something, and Scooter, if you're listening to it on that channel, it's not one of the lawn crime channels. I'm sorry, Addie, if you're listening. It's we're not on that channel. We're on another channel, and they have these commentators, and they have people in the courtroom. Scooter, did you hear that today? This woman, she gave, oh, I know what it was. It was when I came home. When I came home, I was tired, so I sat in the massage chair and I listened to the trial. And I was listening in and out, but I heard this woman, and I can't believe it. And then she was like all kind of like a little bit pissed, because she's like, the chat's really not happy that we talked about that. But she literally talked about what was on that recording. They had a friend of a friend of a friend of, yeah, but did you hear that lady talk about what was on that recording and how he killed her? See, I didn't know he killed her that way. I did not know he killed her that way. But horrible, okay? And yeah, I watched that channel too. But whoever it was that I was laying down in the chair, I heard them say, the chat's not happy we said that. And they're like, but oh well, something like that. Did you hear that, Scooter? I had no idea that that's how he killed her. None. I thought he did something else. Um, it's horrible. So, but they said that today, which was probably the most horrible thing. And I don't know, like what bringing these people in, and all they have to have is it does not have to be unanimous. So, I mean, it has to be unanimous. I'm sorry, reverse that. It has to be unanimous for the death penalty. So if one person says no, and that's all they are trying to decide, to get one person to say no. Okay? And I don't even know how you know, I don't know. It's, there was somebody that came on, and a lot of them don't even know. A lot of them still believe that he hit her with the truck. So, which is strange. Okay, that yeah, but anyway, let's do the Taylor Horner update. They said that his defense must do this. Yeah, so not to give any chance for another trial. Yeah, I get it, but I mean, it's crazy. Now I'm gonna don't tell me I'm gonna get the hiccups because. Okay. I just saw something I wanted to see. They have there are people out there, and I'm just going to show this. Her mother started a nonprofit, Athena's mother, called Athena's Army. And I know that they were upset about the defense or something was upset that people were out there, you know, putting out these signs, and they said, well, the jury doesn't see them because the jury comes in through the back or something. But I know that was one thing that was discussed up there, right? So day 15, special education department head who knew Tanner Horner in high school testified. And she talked about how he had several code of conduct violations, but never was a serious disciplinary problem. And then they went on to say, do you know with a code of conduct violation, whether it is that he was defending himself or whether he was defending a third party? And she said, no, it would all be the same. So that's what his side was trying to say, right? Okay. She said he was able to make friends and he was able to graduate with his class. But they also said that if without the services and stuff with special education, he would not be able to do that. But he did it, she said, with his own, she didn't use the word passion, but tenacity. It was his tenacity, I believe that's what she said, that he did this. And then a former pastor testified that Tanner began attending church with his grandparents and got involved in the youth ministry. And this is pretty bad considering how Athena died, that he tried out and made the Stomp Team. And that was a musical group that included drums. And the pastor testified about how the group qualified for a national competition. But when they went in front of the judges, one of Tanner's drumsticks broke, which caused him to become upset and angry with himself. And then he said how one of the guys that was in the group gave him a stick and they used, their hands for something. But that just how a little thing can just not make him get violent with anybody else, but just really upset, and take it out on himself. The pastor also said that he visited Horner after his murder arrest and he prayed with him, and he wanted to make sure that Horner understood the seriousness of what he had done. And then there was a childhood friend, Reba, and former girlfriend. She said he was never violent with her and never pressured her into doing something she didn't want to do. She said he was always really sweet and gentlemanly. She said, it was a long time ago and I enjoyed spending time with him back then. So she talked about that. Then a Dr. Amy Fritz, a speech language pathologist, was on. She's an autism expert. She testified about her assessment of Tanner, and she said that she reviewed records in the case, and these included the interrogation interviews along with the letters that he wrote in jail, along with 2 days of in-person testing with Horner. I think she is the first person to testify to date, besides the preacher who met with him and knew him as a kid, but the first medical professional that actually ever met with him. She said that he showed large deficits in using language for social purposes. And she used an example that he had an inappropriate use of humor and he had the inability to form an appropriate way to ask for something. And she said it's one of the worst cases of that she has ever seen. She said that there is no excuse and no reason or defense for the murder of Athena. You can't use any of that for the kidnapping and murder. When asked what would make someone commit such an offense, she said she didn't know, but she suspected that there was some sort of triggering event, such as a change in his routine. And then defense attorney Susan Anderson asked this Dr. Fritz about that alternate personality, whatever you want to call him, Zero, that that he used with Job in those interviews. And she asked about that different persona. And the pathologist, Dr. Fritz, said it was clearly a lie, but she said it's common in her observations for autistic individuals to use a third person and just language, she says, when describing something they don't want to talk about. She also said that he showed empathy and remorse in his note that he wanted to take his life, although she did say he lied in the letters as well. She also talked about that he had empathy on things with animals and stuff. And then there was the cross-examination, and she was asked about watching the video of Athena Strand's abduction and murder, and if she was surprised by the amount of violence. And she says it was incongruent, it didn't fit with the gentleman I met. It was shocking, it was horrific. I'm so sorry, she said. She also said she did not witness any triggering event on the video, and she did not see evidence of what would be typical of a meltdown from a person with autism, such as their face becoming red or them banging their head. So that was the crux of everything today, and they're supposed to, they said they were going to hopefully rest their case by Thursday, maybe. Tomorrow's Tuesday. I don't know who they're bringing on. The prosecution's going to have a rebuttal witness. I'm not sure who that's going to be. Could be Athena's mother. But that's, that, I mean, I don't know what the jury's going to decide with this. We know that he's already admitted he's guilty, but it's just about the punishment phase of this. And speaking of that, before we go any further, because something came in before when I was, Corey Richins, she wanted to postpone her sentencing date, and the judge just gave the no stamp. So let me just get that, and we'll go over that real quick too, because he said no. Her lawyers made a motion to continue it for a later date. Let me pull that up. So, okay. All right, let me get a new graphic on here of Miss Richins. Okay, so there we go. Get over there, Corey. Uh-oh. This thing is really aggravating me now because, let me go back to put you over here. Go stay over there, Corey. Stop. So the Utah judge for trial denied a last-minute motion from Corey Richins to delay her sentencing and said, no, it's going to stay on track for May the 13th. The defense argued that it needed more time to prepare mitigation and cited a scheduling conflict with one of her attorneys, but the court was not convinced. The judge ruled the defense had already been given about 2 months to prepare and failed to show specific reasons why more time was necessary. He also noted that one of their excuses was that one of her attorneys is in another trial. Yes, she is the defense for the shooter of Charlie Kirk. And they said another one had a death in the family. But then the prosecution made a motion saying that, Eric Richins' family has been through enough, and they want to get on with this, and so all of that. Let me see if I can get exactly what they said. Hang on. Okay. All right, so here we have one of her attorneys recently had a death in the family. Another is in a separate trial on the date of the sentencing, and they asked for more time to prepare information. But prosecutor Brad Bloodworth filed a motion on April 15th asking Judge Mrazek to deny the defense's request and said, and I quote, "For 3 years, Eric Richins' family has painfully and patiently stood by as the defendant has manufactured one reason after another to delay this proceeding. There is no good reason for them to suffer further delay. The time has come for the court to sentence Corey Richins." Mrazek issued his ruling on Monday and denied the defense's motion, saying the defense was given 2 months to prepare and their reasons for delay don't justify continuance. He wrote in his decision, and I quote, "Although defendant argues she needs additional time to prepare her mitigation case, defendant's motion lacks any specificity about what remains to be done or how long she expects such preparations to take. Although one of her attorneys experienced the death in the family, defendant has the benefit of 2 other highly qualified attorneys to gather and prepare mitigation information. Moreover, to the extent one of her attorneys is unable to attend the sentencing hearing due to commitments in another case, the defendant has 2 other highly qualified attorneys who can represent her interests at the hearing." And Ms. Razik wrote that he needed to balance the rights of the victims and pointed to an unredacted memo written by Brad Bloodworth that described in compelling detail the effect that a delay of the sentencing would have on the minor victims. The court concludes the minor victims in particular would endure significant prejudice if the sentencing hearing is continued beyond its current setting. And the sentencing is taking place on Eric Richen's 44th birthday. So, now let me go and okay. So that was. Now we're going to talk about. We did Tanner. We have the shooter to talk about, and where's my other thing? My gosh, my mind is not. Oh yes, yeah. We're going to do Nanos. We're going to do. Let's do the shooter, and then we'll do Nanos. We'll look at his that little report there, 22 pages. Okay, so Cole Allen. That's the shooter at the White House Correspondents Dinner that went in there shooting. Now, last night, there was a lot of conflicting information. Some people said, some media outlets were reporting that he was dead. He's not dead. Okay, so I want to correct that right now. And we're going to talk about what is known about this person because I saw, they went to Caltech and they created like this wheelchair brake and stuff. It was like out of PVC pipe. I was watching that, and they took a teacher and an engineer from California, and they took a train. Let me just change the graphics so we know where we are. Across the United States into Washington D.C. So let's see what's known about this person. So he appeared in court Monday to face the charges of attempting to assassinate the president. His name is Cole Tomas Allen, 31 years old, a teacher and an engineer from California. And he is accused with opening fire outside a packed ballroom at the Washington Hilton, where the president and other White House officials gathered with journalists for the dinner. So he was in court Monday. He was wearing a blue jumpsuit, and he was escorted by U.S. Marshals. He made his initial appearance in front of the federal magistrate Judge Matthew Sharbaugh in Washington and was charged with 3 criminal counts. He answered rudimentary questions from the judge, giving his full name, his age, his level of education, and understanding of his rights in a soft voice. He scanned the public gallery when he walked in, and there were about 40 to 50 members of the press that were there to observe the proceedings. Okay, so this charge that he has of attempting to assassinate the president carries a sentence of up to life in prison if he's convicted. He was also charged with transportation of a firearm and ammunition through interstate commerce with intent to commit a felony, which carries a sentence of up to 10 years in prison if he's convicted. And the third count he was charged with was the discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, which can carry a sentence of an additional term of mandatory minimum of 10 years. Okay, so he traveled to Washington with a pump-action shotgun, a semi-automatic pistol, 3 knives, and other dangerous paraphernalia. And this is according to Jocelyn Ballantyne, the assistant U.S. attorney. She called for Allen to be held in pretrial detention. His attorneys say Cole Allen has no prior charges and is presumed innocent. Now, the judge set a date for a detention hearing on Thursday. Cole Allen sent a note to his family members 10 minutes before the Saturday attack. In this note, he said to them that it was his duty to target Trump administration officials. He also apologized to his parents and said he planned to carry out a shooting because he vehemently opposed the Trump administration. And he said he planned to use buckshot to minimize civilian casualties. The note was included in a criminal complaint that was released on Monday. At about 8:40 p.m. on Saturday, Cole Allen approached a security checkpoint on the terrace level of the Hilton Hotel, an area that led to the location of the dinner. And an FBI special agent wrote this in the criminal complaint that was released on Monday. So it's all in there. He then ran through the magnetometer with a long gun, and as he did, U.S. Secret Service personnel heard a loud gunshot. U.S. Secret Service officer identified as VG was shot once in the chest and was wearing a ballistic vest at the time. The officer fired multiple times at Allen, who fell to the ground and suffered minor injuries but was not shot. He was then arrested. And the Secret Service officer that was struck in the vest was taken to the local hospital for treatment. The officer was later released. Okay, and then let's see what we know about this guy now that about his life here. He's a 31-year-old teacher and engineer from Torrance, California. He has a LinkedIn page that describes him as a mechanical engineer and computer scientist by degree, an independent game developer by experience, a teacher by birth. It also says he got his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Caltech in 2017 and a master's degree in computer science from California State University last May. According to this LinkedIn page, he worked as a part-time teacher at C2 Education, which is a tutoring service that offers testing prep for high school students. He received a Teacher of the Month award from the company in December of 2024. Now, a student that he tutored in this, a 17-year-old, said that he had a few sessions with Cole Allen and described him as a good teacher, called him a smart guy. Let's see. You wouldn't expect for him to be plotting some crazy evil plan to kill the president. He said he was just quirky because he was just really a smart guy. In addition to teaching, he was a self-employed video game developer. He designed an online game called Boredom, which is spelled Bohrdom, and it was released on an online gaming platform, Steam, in 2018. And we just told you that he sent message to his family members prior to carrying out his plan. Let's see here. If there's anything else. Let me see. Looks like he has a brother and a sister. Okay. Alan's sister said that her brother had a tendency to make radical statements, and his rhetoric constantly referenced a plan to do something to fix the issues with today's world. She also said he attended a No Kings protest in California and was part of a group called the Wide Awakes, a network of activists dedicated to social justice issues that bears the same name as the 1860s. Okay, a youth movement in the 1860s, abolitionist youth movement. His sister said that Alan purchased 2 handguns and a shotgun and kept them stored at his parents' house, and the parents were unaware that they were being stored there. Let's see. So, got that, and I believe he, this is where he lived, evidently, and in Torrance, California. Got a scooter there. Okay. And let's see if there's anything else here. Okay. His brother let's see. Did his brother live in New London, Connecticut? The brother reached out to police in New London hours after the shooting. Hold on a minute. This stupid thing. I don't know what it's doing here. With him, he wanted to share information that he believed was pertinent. And he said about the 1,000-word manifesto to the family members, laying out his reasons for this. Okay. Okay, let me see if there's... Now, let's look at his route, okay? Because he traveled by way of Chicago, I think, right? Isn't that what he did here? Let's see. Okay, he traveled by train from California to Chicago, and then from Chicago to Washington, D.C. In recent days, he checked in as a guest to the hotel where this was being held. It does appear that he did, in fact, set out to target folks who work in the administration, likely including the president. He's believed to have purchased these firearms in the last couple of years, and apparently he is not being cooperative. Okay. I think that is, and like I said, there was a video that I did see where he was showing something. I think he designed as part of his either his master's program or Caltech about this wheelchair brake that was like made with like a PVC pipe, okay? And he was showing that. And I think mostly that is what we know about him. So let's see. Hi, Bink. Hello there. Her okay. Oh, you're her stepmother. Who are you talking about now? What have you got? Hold on a minute. They had a friend of a friend of a friend. Okay. What did Bink say? Carolyn, I remember when I had my biopsies done, I always had to keep on changing the ice packs. Yeah, they want me to she gave me the ice packs and I have been changing them. Her stepmother was back in court today. Whose stepmother? Corey Richin's stepmother? Corey Richin's stepmother. You've been watching Dance Moms and you've got a couple of new tap steps. Oh, that's good. What did you say? What did she said? She thinks I would be. I thought somebody said Carolyn would be surprised. Oh, I think Carolyn would be surprised. LOL. Oh, that you're getting your tap routines down. Okay. All right. So then now we're going to talk about Sheriff Nanos, and we have this document, which I'm going to pull over there. To the Honorable Chair and members of the Pima County Board of Supervisors. I'm sharing the attached report received on April 21st, 2026 from Fraser, Ryan Goldberg, and Arnold LLP. This document includes Sheriff Chris Nanos' responses to a series of written questions requested by the Pima County Board of Supervisors. Okay. Dear Patricia and Mark, I have been engaged to represent Sheriff Chris Nanos in connection with the Pima County Board of Supervisors inquiry detailed in your letter April 7, 2026. In the interest of promoting clarity and ensuring an accurate public record, Sheriff Nanos accepts the board's invitation to respond in writing. I have consulted extensively with Sheriff Nanos about the topics raised in your letter and am authorized to provide the following responses on his behalf. Topic number 1, the sheriff's employment history. At the outset, allow me to note that ARS 11-253 does not authorize an unlimited inquisition. Rather, Sheriff Nanos is only obliged to report on those matters connected with the duties of his office. The sheriff's duties are defined by ARS 11-441. They include keeping the peace, arresting and detaining those suspected of criminal activity, preventing and suppressing riots or insurrection, securing county courthouses, overseeing and operating the county jail, and effectuating service of process. That is all. The sheriff's statutory duties are distinct from those of a sworn peace officer regulated by the Arizona Peace Officer Standards and Training Board. This distinction is significant because it confirms the sheriff's employment history is irrelevant to the performance of his duties as an elected official subject to oversight by the Board of Supervisors. Likewise, given testimony in a civil lawsuit and managing the department's website are not among the duties of his office. Nevertheless, in the interest of transparency and in the spirit of cooperation, the sheriff has authorized me to respond to the board's questions as follows. 1. The circumstances of Sheriff Nanos' departure from the El Paso Police Department. Sheriff Nanos resigned from the El Paso Police Department in 1982. At the time of his resignation, he held the rank of corporal. His resignation came in the wake of a dispute with a supervisor over the towing of vehicles. The supervisor waited to impose a 3-day suspension for insubordination. Sheriff Nanos appealed that recommended discipline to the chief, who found in favor of the supervisor. Rather than accept a 3-day suspension, Sheriff Nanos offered to resign in lieu of discipline. The chief accepted his offer, and Sheriff Nanos resigned. The sheriff's dates of employment, as reflected in application materials, resumes, and prior testimony, all documents Sheriff Nanos submitted to the county when he applied, show his dates of employment with the El Paso Police Department were from 1976 to 1982, which is accurate. For the board's reference, I have attached a copy of the resume Sheriff Nanos submitted as Exhibit 1. Some time ago, Sheriff Nanos was alerted that the department's website incorrectly stated he was employed with the El Paso Police Department from 1976 to 1984, and upon learning of the error, Sheriff Nanos immediately instructed staff to correct it. Hey, get that off that website that says I worked there 2 years longer than I really did. Since then, all staff have been instructed that any biographical data about the sheriff included in public-facing communications must be reviewed for accuracy and approved by his office prior to publication. The sheriff's prior disciplinary history, including suspensions. First, I must reiterate that the sheriff's minimal disciplinary history is irrelevant to the performance of his official duties. The sheriff was the subject of robust public scrutiny. During the election, and the public record includes information about his decorated career as a sworn peace officer. Armed with this information, the voters of Pima County elected him as the sheriff. Whatever the sheriff did or did not do before becoming elected is necessarily unrelated to his performance of the duties of his office. Notwithstanding the impropriety of this question, the sheriff has authorized me to respond as follows. While employed with the El Paso Police Department, Sheriff Nanos was the subject of various disciplinary actions, which included counseling, reprimands, and suspensions. And that discipline and those actions that gave rise to it happened more than 4 decades ago. The sheriff has little specific recollection of those events. However, the sheriff notes that when he applied with the county in 1984, he was subject to a standard background check, which included completion of the county job application, interviews of his past employers and personal references, an oral interview, a psychological evaluation, and a polygraph testing. Moreover, before he became a certified peace officer in Arizona, his fitness to serve and employment history were thoroughly reviewed. At every step in the hiring process, the sheriff was truthful and forthcoming. Lastly, I'm aware of media reports suggesting that Sheriff Nanos was somehow dishonest in sworn deposition testimony that he gave in the matter of Cross versus Nanos. Not so. In that deposition, the sheriff was asked, "Have you ever received discipline as a law enforcement officer?" And he responded, "Yes." And in a follow-up question, he was asked, "Did you ever receive a discipline that rose to the level of a suspension?" And he replied, "No." Bad faith media reports have divorced this testimony from its context to suggest Sheriff Nanos was untruthful about his disciplinary history with the El Paso Police Department. But context matters, people. Both immediately before and immediately after the question, about whether he had ever been suspended, Sheriff Nanos was questioned about the Arizona Peace Officers' Bill of Rights. And as you know, Peace Officers' Bill of Rights details the substantive and procedural due process rights afforded to Arizona law enforcement officers. It's 100% correct that Sheriff Nanos was never suspended during his 4 decades of decorated and faithful service with the Pima County Sheriff's Department. However, Sheriff Nanos was suspended more than 40 years ago while employed by El Paso Police Department. In the context of his live deposition, Sheriff Nanos did not understand the question related to discipline with a different agency, not governed by the Arizona Peace Officers' Bill of Rights. In reviewing the transcript shortly after his deposition, Sheriff Nanos spotted his misunderstanding. "Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. I misunderstood this question and I answered it incorrectly. Let me promptly call my attorney." And he promptly notified his attorney. For the board's reference, I have attached the relevant excerpt from his deposition transcripts. Topic number 2, the Lappin and Cross disciplinary actions. Before responding substantively, I must note that both Sergeant Cross and former Lieutenant Lappin have filed lawsuits against the sheriff in connection with the discipline they received following sustained findings of misconduct. Both lawsuits are ongoing. Because this topic touches an active litigation against the county, any discussion about it should take place in executive session. Moreover, the sheriff must be mindful of the impact his public statements in response to this inquiry could have on the litigation. I'm quite certain the board would not wish for the public nature of its inquiry to create a potential liability for the county in these cases where none currently exists. In addition, personnel matters are typically confidential. It would not be appropriate to discuss the allegations or findings against former Lieutenant Lappin or Sergeant Cross, nor the department's internal investigative processes in this public forum. Notwithstanding these considerations, the sheriff has authorized me to respond as follows. The disciplinary process for all PCSD employees is rooted in long-settled county policy and well-documented department policy and procedures. Both Sergeant Cross and former Lieutenant Lappin were suspected of violating department and county policy. Consistent with long-standing department policy, those reports of misconduct were investigated by Internal Affairs and presented to the PCSD's disciplinary review panel. The panel was comprised of members of the PCSD command staff, the PCSD legal advisor, a member of the county attorney's office, members from the PCSD Citizens Advisory Review Board, and various department employee association members. And after hearing the evidence, the panel unanimously sustained the complaints as discipline. The panel recommended a letter of reprimand for former Lieutenant Lappin and termination for Sergeant Cross. Because the panel's recommended discipline for Sergeant Cross involved termination, it was reviewed by Sheriff Nanos per policy. And during the review process, Sergeant Cross provided a statement admitting he had violated policy as found by the panel and requested leniency. Specifically, Sergeant Cross asked the sheriff to issue a formal letter of reprimand in lieu of termination. Because Sergeant Cross appeared to be taking responsibility for his misconduct, Sheriff Nanos reduced the discipline from termination to a letter of reprimand over the objections of his command staff. Despite getting exactly what he wanted, and heedless of his own admission, Sergeant Cross immediately grieved the lenient discipline he received. Former Lieutenant Lappin likewise appealed. The twin grievances were submitted to the County Human Services Director, Kathy Boland, and the Grievance Committee conducted an independent investigation of both disciplinary decisions. And following that independent investigation, the Grievance Committee recommended that the county administrator uphold the discipline. The county administrator adopted the recommendation and denied both grievances. They have been denied. The implication that the discipline given to Sergeant Cross was somehow retaliatory or uneven is absurd and unfair. Sergeant Cross was disciplined as a result of a sustained finding that he violated the Hatch Act. Indeed, before any discipline was ever contemplated, Sergeant Cross was notified that his off-duty behavior violated department policy and federal law, and was informally counseled on how to continue his protected speech activity without violating policy. Sergeant Cross ignored that advice and continued to break federal law in violation of department policy. His conduct was reviewed by a diverse panel of independent fact finders who unanimously concluded he had violated the Hatch Act. Those independent adjudicators recommended he be terminated. In an abundance of generosity and the good faith belief Sergeant Cross had accepted responsibility for his actions, Sheriff Nanos granted Sergeant Cross's request for leniency and reduced his termination to a mere letter of reprimand. And in response, Sergeant Cross immediately reversed course. He recanted his acceptance of the responsibility and he grieved the discipline that he requested. Even before the committee rejected his grievance, Sergeant Cross filed a lawsuit. Any suggestion that Sheriff Nanos retaliated against Sergeant Cross by sparing him from termination as his peers recommended blinks at reality. Likewise, any suggestion of impropriety or an uneven application of departmental policy in connection with former Lieutenant Lappin's disciplinary process lacks a basis in fact. Former Lieutenant Lappin was suspected of multiple violations of PCSD policy based on credible evidence. The evidence merited investigation, so in an abundance of caution and in keeping with department policy, former Lieutenant Lappin was placed on administrative leave with pay pending completion of the investigations. And while on that paid leave, former Lieutenant Lappin was subject to precisely the same policies and requirements of any departmental employee on administrative leave. And although she was required to remain available during her normal working hours, her freedom of movement was not restricted, subject only to long-withstanding departmental requirements governing paid administrative leave. And likewise, although she was ordered not to discuss the ongoing investigation consistent with department policy, she was free to engage in all other protected speech activity, including continuing to campaign against Sheriff Nanos. At the conclusion of the department's investigation, former Lieutenant Lappin was given a letter of reprimand, the exact punishment the discipline review panel recommended. The discipline was upheld after review when county HR denied her grievance. Your grievance is denied, ma'am. To be clear, as if it was not clear already, the allegations made by former Lieutenant Lappin have been extensively litigated in both federal court and the court of public opinion. Former Lieutenant Lappin grieved her discipline, and that grievance was denied. Former Lieutenant Lappin filed a lawsuit that has not resulted in any finding of wrongdoing by Sheriff Nanos or PCSD. The DOJ conducted a review and determined there was no evidence to support an investigation, and moreover, these allegations were reported on by local media exhaustively in the run-up to the 2024 election, and they were rejected by Pima County voters. Despite all this unrelenting scrutiny, there has never been a sustained finding critical of the department's discipline of former Lieutenant Lappin. That is no accident. Any appearance of impropriety that resulted from former Lieutenant Lappin's placement on administrative leave is the unfortunate result of a 2024 change to county policy that allowed county employees to run for county office without leaving their jobs. Before 2024, employees vying for county office were placed on leave without pay to ensure that their political aspirations did not prevent them from doing their jobs nor adversely affect the operation of their department. It's not surprising that this first election following the regrettable change in policy showcased the predictable ways in which active employees running for county office can adversely impact departmental operations. In order to strengthen current processes, the sheriff plans to meet with County Administrator Lesher to discuss amending County Personnel Policy 8-108 to once more allow candidates for county office to be placed on leave without pay until after the election. Topic number 3, coordination with federal immigration officials. PCSD's interactions with federal immigration officials are primarily governed by Chapter 10, Section 12 of PCSD's Rules and Regulations, which can be found in the department's website. The policies speak for themselves. Broadly, they confirm the following. PCSD employees do not inquire about how a person entered the United States unless that is a valid element of a criminal investigation, and PCSD employees do not inquire about immigration status while at a school unless that is a valid element of a criminal investigation, and PCSD employees do not inquire about immigration status at all during consensual encounters with the public. PCSD employees do not inquire about the immigration status of purported crime victims or witnesses. In addition, the policies govern PCSD interaction and cooperation with federal law enforcement. PCSD employees cooperate with federal law enforcement officials when necessary to ensure public safety or law enforcement officer safety. And PCSD employees do not participate in immigration checkpoints except when necessary to enforce a state or local law. PCSD employees will comply with international treaties in as much as such treaties require notification of a detention be given to a foreign consulate. However, PCSD employees may not affirmatively inquire whether a detainee is a foreign national unless the detainee volunteers that information or the employee has reasonable grounds to suspect as much. Okay, so hi Jen Grill. Let's see, where would we go now? So this goes on and on. Let's see now. Management of the department's budget. Okay. Despite the sheriff's success over the span of his tenure, there are 2 years where the department exceeded the budgetary projections. The data speaks for itself and attests to the sheriff's sound fiscal management. No explanation or justification is needed, but make no mistake, from a funding perspective, the department is fighting for the residents of Pima County, and one hand tied behind its back. The department is tasked with meeting budgetary guideline expectations while also satisfying a host of unfunded mandates. For example, each year the department incurs approximately $2.5 million in personnel expenses related to valuable but unbudgeted county programs such as leave payouts, parental leave, military leave, bereavement leave. These leave programs reduce available personnel and they necessitate costly overtime expenditures by the department to prevent interruptions in service and to maintain public safety. Going forward, the sheriff remains committed to operating within budget despite these challenges. Last but critically important, comparing the department's expenditures with its budget is a fundamentally flawed and unfair analysis because it fails to consider the department's net fund impact. Okay, so conclusion. The sheriff appreciates the opportunity to answer the board's questions and to document his tireless efforts to protect and serve the people of Pima County. Serving as a sheriff is a great honor, and he looks forward to achieving even greater success for the department and the public servants who fulfill its mission every day through their hard work and dedication. And if the board requires further information or would like to follow up on the topics discussed in this letter, please contact me and I will work with the sheriff to provide an appropriate response. And that's James Cool. Joe Cool? No, James Cool. Does he have a brother, Joe? That would be cool if he did. He'd be Joe Cool. That's Sheriff Nanos' attorney, and these are all of his exhibits. Okay? These are to prove the facts that he is being honest with everyone and everything, and you should not expect that not to be the case, according to Sheriff Nanos and his attorney. Hi, Rochelle. Hi, Tree Dog. Okay, now we're going to go to the over-deliver. I always over-deliver and under-promise. So let's see what else we have now, because we've covered everything we had to. And now it's all gravy from here. Okay, let's see what we have now. Okay. Georgia wildfires double in size. Mandatory evacuations possible. Okay, video shows. A 79-year-old man fatally stabbed his wife and stepson in the apartment. What happened here now? Let's see, what's this about? Some breaking news. Let's put this over here because we're done with Mr. Nanos right now. Oh, and Elizabeth Smart's father is making the rounds and saying that all this Nancy Guthrie conspiracy stuff is not good. We didn't know that. 79-year-old man stabbed his wife and stepson to death in their Northwest Miami-Dade apartment last week, and they had an argument over money. Jose Vidal tried to cover up the grisly crime. He told detectives that he was attacked and knocked out by two men inside the Antigua at Country Club of Miami apartment on Sunday, April 19th, and then discovering the bodies when he regained consciousness the next day. He then rode his bicycle, I love my bicycle, from the condo to the Memorial Hospital, Pembroke and Pembroke Pines. It's a 6-mile trip, and he rode his bicycle. And crazy. To be treated for what the detectives describe as a superficial cut on his abdomen. Detectives say the real story is that Jose stabbed his stepson and his wife to death on April 18th after a confrontation. The stepson accused Jose of stealing a large sum of money and announced to the family via text messages that he was kicking his stepfather out of the home. Jose was arrested Friday, and as of Monday, April 27th, he remained in the Turner Guilford Knight Correctional Center on 2 counts of second-degree murder with no bond set. Jose left the apartment building around 9:20 a.m. April 20th, and he stopped at a gas station. Why? To buy lottery tickets. The Pembroke Pines Police Department called the sheriff's office to send deputies to the apartment to check on the stepson and the wife. Deputies found their bodies when they entered the apartment, and they also found bloody footprints that matched a pair of sandals that were in the kitchen. The sandals were cleaned, but a chemical test detected blood on the footwear. Security cameras showed Jose wearing those very sandals that day the murders happened, and they showed Jose making several trips to the dumpster, throwing away full trash bags. What the footage didn't show was anyone matching the description Jose gave them of the men that attacked him, right? Knocked him out. When detectives interviewed Jose on Friday, he admitted that he got into a fight with his stepson about the stolen money. He also asked, "How'd you find the blood on my sandals if they had been cleaned?" He also stated that the day the victim's family will get their justice is the day he dies. Okay. Alrighty then. Let's not forget he's 79. And he was driving that bicycle 6.5 miles. Okay? And another one that thought she could, we got a woman, she thought she could solve her problems. Let's see who this is. Alrighty. Killed her husband and then set their house on fire. This is coming out of Texas. Okay. And she doesn't have, what is that, a curl in the middle of her forehead. She has what's like a gash in the middle of her forehead. Was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. Now this one's got a gash right there. Meet this North Texas woman who allegedly stabbed her husband and then set their house on fire with him inside. About 1:40 a.m. on Monday, officers responded to the 3600 block of Old Denton Road after a reported stabbing, and when they arrived, the home was fully engulfed in flames. And how old do you think she is? How old do you think she is? She is 58. Carolina Macias. She was sitting on the front porch. The officer said she admitted that her husband, Ramon Macias, was still inside the home, but the intensity of the flames, officers could not enter to search, and the Carrollton fire rescue arrived. When they got in the home, they found Ramon and they saw he had been stabbed. Both Carolina and Ramon were taken to the hospital. Ramon died from his injuries. Police say Carolina was later arrested and transported to the Carrollton jail for murder. That worked out well for you, Carolina? Not so well. The investigation is ongoing, and police are asking anyone with information to come to the police department. Okay. This is it. People really need education on problem solving, and this is not, none of this is, murder is not the answer. Okay, now, a lot of people like ChatGPT. It helps them with things, but there's always got to be people, right? That's what they're like, this is why we can't have nice things. Well, it's going to get to the point, like, this is why we can't have ChatGPT, because people like this have to abuse it and use it for murder. Okay? Yeah, this one. The man accused of killing 2 University of South Florida doctoral students allegedly was asking ChatGPT about how to hide a body. Just days before the doctoral students disappeared, this man right over here, we're going to call him Hisham, because I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. He's charged with first-degree murder in the deaths of Zamil Limon and Nahida Bristi, who were both 27. And they were close friends from Bangladesh. They were pursuing advanced degrees at the University of Florida, and according to prosecutors, this guy here used ChatGPT on the Saturday, April 13th, 3 days before they were last seen, and said, what happens if a human has been put in a garbage bag and thrown in a dumpster? And the chat platform responded that it sounded dangerous. Sounds dangerous. And they said, then this guy types in, how would they find out? Okay. And ChatGPT's like, wow, okay. First thing, what are you on? Because you're going to search your search engine, Einstein. Okay. Authorities found Limon's body on Friday, April 25th, in black trash bags under the Howard Franklin Bridge in Tampa, Florida. He suffered multiple stab wounds, and the medical examiner determined the cause of death was homicide. Bristi's remains were discovered Sunday, April 27th, in North St. Petersburg, but they have yet to be officially identified at the time that this was reported. Investigators say this Einstein over here on the screen was seen moving boxes to a dumpster at the apartment complex that he shared with Limon. Inside the dumpster, detectives found Limon's student ID, his credit cards, his wallet, as well as Bristi's pink phone case and other personal items. DNA testing on clothing in a kitchen mat recovered from the area matched both victims. Blood evidence was also found throughout the shared apartment. Okay, and this guy over here bought trash bags, disinfecting wipes, air freshener on April 16th, and that was after the last known sightings of Limon and Bristi. The surveillance cameras and cell phone records place him driving across Tampa Bay bridges in the hours of the disappearances, and they match the movement on Limon's cell phone. He told investigators, meanwhile, that he had last seen Limon and Bristi when he gave them a ride to Clearwater, but then he later changed his story when he was confronted with location data. He was arrested Friday after a brief standoff and is being held without bond at the Falkenberg Road Jail. Along with murder charges, he faces counts of battery, false imprisonment, failure to report a death, and tampering with evidence. On April 29th, which is going to be Wednesday, there's a hearing for him. The motive for these murders has not been released. The University of South Florida expressed their condolences, said it's committed to the safety and well-being of its students, and family members of the victims have requested that the bodies be handled in accordance with Islamic rituals and hope for a memorial in their names. Okay. ChatGPT. All right. Mega wildfire engulfs 91 Georgia counties. 31 square miles are still burning. See what else is going on. 6.4 magnitude earthquake shakes Japan week after huge tremor sparks tsunami and megaquake. Life-threatening storms target millions in the Midwest and the Mississippi Valley. Yeah, the storms are really bad. Okay, here we have something. An Army veteran was angered over poorly fitting dentures, and he killed 2 dentists. That's really not, and this is also out of Texas. Not really the way to handle things in Texas. Amy, I hope they're not your dentists. Crazy, right? Let's see which. Okay, ads. I hope that's not Amy's dentist. I'm trying to find out if it's her dentist. Let me see which dentist this is in Texas. That's not good. Let's see. Oh, this is following a dispute over his dentures. This did not. Why is this being reported as new? And this is very strange. One report is saying it's 2022. Another one is saying it's 2024. Another one is reporting it 2 days ago. Why? You know what I'm finding? They're making old news. They're really. I don't know. What is there, like a lull in current things that they're putting stuff that it's breaking? So you don't have to worry, Amy. It was Stephen Alexander Smith. He pled guilty to capital murder. He killed Dr. Jack Burrows, who was 75, and Dr. Blake Sinclair over some ill-fitting dentures, and he got life in prison. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that either. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. Do not try that either. An 8-year-old girl escaped attempting kidnapping from a woman. Okay, on April 22nd, the 8-year-old escaped that attempt in Fresno, California. The woman allegedly pulled her hair to get her inside a vehicle. And that woman is Taisha Davis, arrested April 22nd. She's being held on $185,000 bail. She allegedly tried to grab the 8-year-old girl, whose identity is not being released, pull her hair to get her in a car. The girl reportedly freed herself, knocked on a neighbor's door, and she was brought inside to safety. The girl's parents arrived on scene, and they told investigators the woman was no relation to their family. So, very odd, very odd. Yeah, and we talked about the mom, right, in Wesley, Massachusetts. She wants to be brought back to Massachusetts as quickly as possible and face the charges there. Okay, I'm going to come back to the chat and see what you're doing. There you are. Okay, let's see who's here. Hello, 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 hello. Who's there? Who are you saying hello to? Hi, Rochelle. Nora Woods, hello there. High Speed Drifter, hello there. You're too tired to chat. That's okay. That's okay. I don't know who you're talking about. I still don't know who you're. Hi, Julianne. Tree Dog. I don't know who Scooter's talking about, that she's saying that her stepmother is back in jail. But wait, I want to do something. Hold on a minute, okay? Just hang on for 1 minute. Okay. Let's see. I'm looking for something. Okay. You know what I thought about? I know what I thought about. Hang on a minute. Let's see here. Let us see. Oh no. Hold on a minute. Oh no. Oh no, it's saying there's a new message in my chart. I can't open this now. I can't open it now. It's saying that why would they have a new message going in my chart 29 minutes ago? Don't open it now, right guys? I have 2 new messages in there. Don't open it now, right? It doesn't say, let me see, it says message. Hold on a minute. It says, hold on a minute. You have a new message, a new message. It doesn't say test result. Um, what do I do? Not open it, right? Don't open it, right? Don't open the new message. Because if something is wrong, I can't get a hold of anyone at this point. Not now. Now it's going to really bother me, though. Now it's bothering me. Why would something come through like that, a new message? Wouldn't it say new test results? You have a new message in your My Chart. How come you're the only one answering me, Jen? Where's everybody else? Where's everybody else? Why aren't you answering me? Hello, where are you? Why aren't they answering? Not nice, guys. They fell asleep. 31 people, right? That's not nice. I'm not boring? Are you saying I'm boring? Could be just verifying that they received your biopsy and we'll let you know. I always get nervous when I see the message from My Chart. Usually it's me falling asleep. If I just look at what it is, it's going to tell me whether it, like what it, it's not going to tell me the result unless I open it up. It's 2 messages. Why would there be 2 messages? I wish they would just put what it, like, it's, usually they say it's a test result. Now I'm really freaked out. I'm getting really sick to my stomach right now. I'm really sick to my stomach. Where's Scooter? I'm really, really sick to my stomach right now. I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Carolyn,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to scare you.
Oh,
Oh my God, when I just say hello. Is Jimmy awake?
no.
Oh,
What? But if I just look at it,
well,
it's
I was just thinking like not knowing, like seeing that and not knowing might cause more anxiety than just not, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm. What do you say, Rochelle? Yes, I agree that it says test results when you have to try not to panic. Okay. But what would it be? They already put the procedures I had done today in there.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. Rochelle. I don't know.
Did they say that they were gonna schedule you another appointment or anything, or?
No.
Hmm.
Hmm. That's really weird. Very weird.
It could just be like they're following up because whatever instructions they gave you, like with the packs and stuff, it could be something like that, like let us know if you need anything, blah, blah. Something to that effect.
No, they already put all that in there. Why do they do this to people?
Does it show you like a heading of it?
No.
Sometimes they'll show you the
Because I-
first.
Well, I didn't log in because
Oh,
it
okay.
just- The other thing says new test result message. That was at 5, but that was from the other one. Okay. That says, and you have a new after visit summary. You have a new message. That was from the doctor, but something else in the other, because I have 2 different my charts. And then complete tasks for your upcoming appointment. Uh-oh, that's crazy. Why would they do that? We have a new test result. That was Garnet Health. Oh, and that was about something that I had done for my thyroid, but it came in today, which is not nice. That scared me when I got that. Now I have.
They probably just updated your chart, you know what I mean? That's why it comes up that way. They might have just wrote something in there.
I don't know. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna see. Oh my gosh, this has got me so stressed out right now.
Oh,
My gosh. I don't know what to do.
That's
notice.
probably better off looking than not looking, right? Because then you'll be up wondering.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do. I wish. Why the hell would they do this? The hell would they do this for?
It could even just be something simple like,
Okay, hold on a minute.
oh,
All right, hold on. So I want in here. Okay, and it says, okay, thank you for letting us care for you during a recent visit on 427. Now this says it's from my doctor. And then there's an after visit summary. But it said I had 2 messages. Okay. Test results. Okay, the test results are not, this is the one that I had. Okay, that's where the biopsy marker was. There's no test result there, so it's not the pathology. And let me see, I guess I'm going to just see what this says. Let's see. View this message. Okay, thank you for letting us care for you during your recent visit. Don't forget that you can review your after visit summary. Oh, so
right.
scary.
Whenever they update your chart, they just send
Yeah,
that.
but they didn't update it. They didn't update anything. He just.
Well, anytime they write a progress note,
Oh.
they always have to let you know, like let us know if you're having any symptoms, like discharge paperwork. Did they give you discharge paperwork?
Yeah, yep.
So they probably uploaded that in there. Like, if there's any pain or severe pain, give us a call within blah, blah, blah. Like sometimes like that, or any little change they have to, update your chart. I know, but that's nerve wracking because I would have thought the same thing.
So dumb. Do that. That's not right. Okay. All right. At least that's not there. All right. Freaked me out.
Plus, Carolyn, they wouldn't just put that in there and not call you.
No, they do. They do.
What? Without
Yep.
calling you? That's not right.
Yeah, they do. She told me they do.
Oh, God. So
It was an
inconsiderate.
after visit summary by the doctor that wasn't there.
That's not appropriate. They should be calling.
No, they don't. That's the problem. That's the whole problem. They were
Right.
telling me, yeah. She's like, that's why she's like, don't read anything that comes in outside of office hours. But
Oh,
more
see,
than likely,
she
you're going
told
to
you
get
to. She
you're
told
going to
you
get
not.
something before your doctor gets it.
So that was all that was in there?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Well, that's a relief,
Oh, you
right?
finally came in, Scooter? Wow. Where were you? Watching John and his mother? Oh my gosh. Can someone tell me what Carolyn read? I can barely hear. Oh my gosh, she can barely hear me. Again, she can barely hear me.
Oh, God.
Can you guys all barely hear me? Scooter
I
can
can
never
hear you
hear
fine.
me. It was an after visit summary. Thank you for letting us take care of you today. From my doctor, but not the doctor that took care of me today. My other doctor. And I don't know why he is writing in this place because he normally goes under the other my chart. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, gave me a heart attack. I can definitely hear the other lady better than I can hear you, so I agree with Scooter. Zigzag, please don't give Scooter any more validation for her comments.
Oh my God.
My goodness. How is it now, Zigzag?
You're louder. For me, I hear it louder.
Loud and clear, Rochelle says.
Where's your megaphone, Carolyn? Remember, you're supposed to bring that out.
Yeah. For one, Scooter, they all agree with you just to razz me, then just because they like to. And I don't know. I was going to do so. I know what I was going to do. I was doing so. I don't know how I went back to look at that. Something told me, just go look at it. Maybe I subconsciously heard a ding. Okay, let's see something. Close that. Let's go. Are you trying to find King Charles, Scooter? Because he's in the United States? Is that what you've been trying to find? Probably. Let's see here.
Anything new on Nancy Guthrie?
Nothing.
Nothing on the ransom notes?
Nothing. Let's see. The voice Dylan Carter, he died. Shannon Elizabeth. What else? Let's see. Oh, Scooter, could you tell me does anybody know somebody has a seizure thing or something that's on and they're saying it's fake and it's all over? Who is that? Is that a reality star or what is that thing?
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Scooter, you must have heard about that, right? Somebody in the chat heard about it. Who are they talking about?
They're faking that they have a seizure disorder?
I think so.
Jeez. Attention-seeking behavior.
Let's see.
It must be one of the Real Housewives.
I don't know which one it is. I can't remember what her name is. I think it began with a C.
Oh. They're always looking for attention, those housewives.
Let me see. Okay, let's see. Trying to see if I can find it is. Now, of course, I can't. Let me see. Oh, did anybody see the Michael Jackson bioepic, bioepic or whatever they're calling it?
My brother saw it.
Oh,
He
he
said
did?
it was really good.
Now everything is about it. His daughter came out and said some things that it's not like there's some lies and there's some
Oh, really?
yeah. She's not happy, and she's like, and now everybody says that, oh, she must hate her father and this and that. And she's like, I'm going to go F off now, and I suggest you do the same or something like that. I don't know what the heck.
They've been through hell, her and Blanket.
But they're not really his kids. I mean, it's obvious she is not his kid. There's no way in the world that's his kid. And I don't know why he wouldn't have his kids unless he hated his looks so much he did not want to.
She looks like him a little bit. She's just light skin because of the mom.
No, she's not. Okay. Who believes that Paris is really Michael's biological child?
I think so. She's just light because of the mom.
But Michael doesn't look like that. Do you remember what Michael really looks like?
Back in the day.
Yeah, but that
Right.
she can't look like he looks now because that's all plastic surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody believe that Paris is Michael's biological daughter? I'm going to say here. Could I please get some answers if anybody believes that Paris Jackson is Michael's biological daughter? And I don't know why he wouldn't have a biological child because he has all that talent and stuff to pass on. But I think he was so bothered by his looks, he did not want, I think that's the thing, he didn't want to do it.
Right. He didn't want
He didn't want to put that out there, but I don't know. Okay, let's see what they're saying. They said, Scooter says, I don't know. Yeah, okay. Back to the music for a moment. Enjoy the patriotic music. What patriotic music? What are you talking about? From the orchestra. What is she talking about? Ask chat. I am asking chat. Prince isn't either. Now you just said you didn't know, and now you're saying Prince isn't either. No, Prince is not his kid either. I really don't think so. You want me to ask like an AI thing? Let me ask it. I'm going to ask a friend of mine. See what they say. My friend.
You have your glasses, Meadow?
No, I have just a friend right now. Let's see what my friend says. My friend says, let's see there. My friend is figuring this out. My friend did a lot of research on this and says, Debbie Rowe. She's been inconsistent. She sometimes defends that Michael Jackson is the father, and other times she has made comments suggesting that they were made with donors. And two friends have, one being a dermatologist, have made public claims or hints that they donated the sperm for these kids. Let's see. I don't know. I don't think so. Just that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. And let's see if anybody else put theirs in there. Scooter says Dave and I don't believe either one. Wait, let me just say. They are all waiting on their hair DNA. Who is Rochelle? You won't believe I was watching the garden party, Throne for the King. Oh gosh, are you really? Come on, Scooter. They don't even sleep in the same room. They're divorced in every way. It said. Stop that. Dave and I don't believe either one is a bio kid. Prince isn't either. What about you, Rochelle? You asked your friend and they said they don't have proof? Oh boy. Okay. What was that? Sounded like a machine. What the heck was that?
I don't know.
Scary. That sounded like a printer or something.
On my side, or?
I have no idea. Did you guys hear that? I hope I'm not hearing things again. As soon as I changed the chat, it was like, it almost sounded like when you hit a rumble strip on the highway.
Oh, jeez.
It's crazy.
That's very specific.
It was like that. It was like,
That's weird.
yeah, but it sounded like a machine or something, but I don't have a printer or anything on that.
No.
Do that. I'd be my what? You bet your eye teeth? You don't want to bet your eye teeth. That you'd look very silly without them if you lost. Hold on, let me make this a little larger because I can barely see your chat, Scooter. Okay, you said now you're betting your eye teeth they wouldn't take DNA tests. Okay, Rochelle says, regarding the hair, I was talking about Nancy's case. Jen is growling at me. Okay, sassy, is she? I thought I saw somebody else answering me. Well, did anybody... Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about this bio epic. Let's see because I was looking up some stuff on this. So it has a record 97 million U.S. opening, 219 million globally. And it's the Michael Jackson film scored, what did they say they scored? The top launch ever for a biopic domestically after passing up Oppenheimer, as well as the best global opening for a music biopic. Let's see. and it's his cousin or something that's acting as him. But did his cousin have plastic surgery? Michael is beating expectations in North America by 30 million. Heading into the weekend, producer Graham King and Lionsgate never imagined Michael had a shot at becoming the king of all biopics. Let's see. Endorsed by the Jackson estate, it's faced a fair share of challenges. I know why his daughter was upset, because I think it was the producer that was saying that Paris Jackson was involved with this, and she was saying she was not. It hit major delays when the decision was made by the producer Graham King and Lionsgate to spend tens of millions reworking the third act to avoid the mention of the allegations of child SA. Okay, so they kept that out. Let's see. Moviegoers over the age of 55 rarely turn out for opening weekend. Did you know that? If you're over 55, you don't go to opening weekend. Let's see. Jafar Jackson's uncanny portrayal. But did he have plastic surgery? I wonder. Let me see. Let's see. Jackson died in 2009. I remember that day. See, I'm still trying to look at this. Whatever happened? Okay. Let's see. Well, I'm trying to see if that Jafar had plastic surgery to play him. Jackson's nephew. So who's his mother or father, Jafar? Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so Jafar Jeremiah Jackson was born in 1996. A member of the Jackson family, he portrayed his paternal uncle Michael in his film debut. Now, who's his dad? Let's see. Yeah, he had to have plastic surgery. In my opinion, because Let's see. I want to know whose son is he, though? Why don't they say whose son he is? Oh, Jermaine. He's Jermaine's son. He's been singing and dancing since the age of 12. In 2019, he released his first single, Got Me Singing. Jafar is no stranger to the screen. He has appeared in 2015's The Jacksons, The Next Generation, and Tito Jackson's 2021 music video, Love One Another. Well, how come we don't see any pictures of this kid? He's honored to play Michael Jackson. While preparing for the role, he spent time in the Jackson family's California estate to feel the energy. Okay, let's see if Jafar had plastic surgery. There is no evidence that he's undergone plastic surgery to resemble his uncle, it says. But there are pictures of him. Yeah, okay. I'm lost. So now I'm confused because they show him with a different nose, but I don't know if that's fake or not. CGI work. Oh, they're saying it's CGI work, they're saying. I don't know. Very confused. He later... I don't know. You'd have to look. Jermaine Jackson's son, Jafar. Before and after. Michael just looked freaky at the end of his life, okay? He just kept having plastic surgery after plastic surgery. It was ridiculous. He had no nose left. I can't even imagine if he was alive today what he would look like. He couldn't stop. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, take this. Okay. MJ studied films of Fred Astaire dancing. His nose looks wider as soon as his chin. When it comes on Netflix or something, yes. Your mother went to the same junior high school as Prince. Okay. Wayne Osmond died recently. I saw that. Hollywood ruined him and his father, and who knows? I don't know. Okay, let's see. Where is Blanket Jackson, whose real name is Prince? Where is he? Prince Michael B.G. Jackson, formerly Blanket, lives a private life in Calabasas, California. He purchased a $2.62 million home in 2020. He's 24 years old and focuses on filmmaking and environmentalism. He rarely makes appearances in the public. Blanket makes at his brother's graduation in 2019. I see Blanket. But I mean, I don't believe Prince the First is Michael's child, and the Blanket I don't believe is either, but they have different mothers, and I think trying to pull this over here and it doesn't want to go. Okay, but that is not working at all. Oh, now where'd you go? Okay, so this is 2019 anyway, but I still don't think this is his child. I think, but this is, I do not believe. You're not going to convince me that that's Michael Jackson's biological child. And I can... Michael Joseph Jackson Jr. Thought he was Prince. Prince Michael. Joseph Jackson. Has he lost the Prince name? Well, you're not going to convince me of that. Sorry. No, it's not happening. And that's okay. He wanted to look like Peter Pan. He wanted to look like a cartoon character, a Disney character, Peter Pan. Okay. He was fixated on being, what was he being? Like Peter and reclaiming his lost childhood. Yeah, but no, that is what Jafar looked like several years ago. I watched a few things with him. I don't think either son is. I don't think so either, Scooter. I think he tried with the third one to maybe somehow the whole family said he reminds everyone of Michael. Yeah, but there's a picture with him with Michael's real nose. And I'm asking, is that really him? Or did they put makeup on him too? I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. Okay, let's see something. Okay, so all right, hang on for a second. I'm trying to find something here. All right, here's a dilemma, okay? Last night, my wife made spaghetti and it smelled amazing. She said she tried something new and wanted me to just eat it before I asked her any questions. I took a few bites and it tasted kind of off, but not terrible, just weirdly sweet and earthy. I asked what she changed, and she told me she blended up leftover spaghetti from 6 days ago and mixed it. I think I saw somebody doing this online. They were putting spaghetti in a blender. I don't know if it's crazy. 6 days ago and mixed it into the sauce to thicken it. I immediately stopped eating. I know it's technically the same ingredients, but the idea of blended old noodles mixed into fresh sauce made me feel sick. She got offended, and I already ate half a plate, so clearly it was fine, and I was just being dramatic now that I knew. I told her that is exactly the point. I did not know. If I had known beforehand, I would not even have eaten it. She said I was being wasteful and disrespectful, and acting like she served him garbage. I ended up making a sandwich because I could not finish it, and she got really upset. Barely talked to me the rest of the night. And now she told her family, and they think I embarrassed her, but my mom thinks it's gross, and I should not have been tricked into eating it. I feel bad for hurting her feelings, but I also feel like I should get a say in what I'm eating. Okay, now you can say, is this guy the a-hole? Yes or no? Is he an a-hole about this, or is he justified? Go ahead. Okay, let's see what you said. That gave you enough time to answer. Are we on a serious delay here? He does have a right to know what he's eating, but is he the a-hole? See, you guys are like, he is light skinned from vitiligo. Everyone worded it that everyone wondered if that was true, and it was confirmed by the ME. He's not the a-hole. Okay. Thank you, Scooter, for finally answering something. All right. Let's see. Okay, it was about a Wegmans. Wegmans is a really big supermarket up in parts of New York and even New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Okay. Last year, my partner and I were running errands and I needed groceries. We were living near Buffalo, New York, and we went to Wegmans, a large corporate chain like a Kroger or a Nandos, but it's really big and it's really nice. They have a cafe eating area with sandwiches. Yes, they do. Like a Subway, but it's much better than a Subway. It's not like a Subway. And we really needed lunch, and I stood in line. I read the menu, and after waiting for a lady to finish a complicated order, I gave a simple one: ham with cheddar and pickles. The sign warned me they didn't have cheddar, so I said, cheddar or the next closest thing. The worker replied with a list, including American, which was not on the menu either, saying they didn't offer anything with artificial ingredients. I nodded and repeated my request. The worker wasn't sure what to do and offered the manager. I accepted and stood off to the side so that other people could order, and a few minutes later, the manager, chef, comes out in a I don't know what that means, like he's not at the grocery store, and he says, no, they do not offer cheddar. I acknowledged this and repeated cheddar or the most cheddar-like alternative, and he continued to go on about their menu, and I maintained my stance calmly. Well, if you wanted cheddar so freaking bad, you're at Wegmans. Go to the cheese section. They have a huge cheese section, and get your own freaking cheddar. Okay, sorry. Our stalemate was as follows. We acknowledged that the manager chef suggested provolone, but refused to order it unless I agreed and requested it. And I was willing to accept it, but I refused to request it. What the heck? This guy, I can tell you right now, this guy is the a-hole. He is the a-hole. He said he wouldn't order an ingredient I didn't want, and I repeated, I would like cheddar or the most cheddar-like alternative, and he said I was being difficult to make a point, and I said that was correct. You are the a-hole man. Eventually, he reoffered provolone. He checked that I acknowledged his assessment of it being the best alternative and ordered the sandwich to be finished. We each left. I paid, and my partner and I ate. Which brings us to the further context. I'm mildly autistic, and I get hangry, especially when out shopping. Meat, cheddar, and pickles are my same food. I could tell from the menu that this was going to be an issue, and I anticipated being offered American cheese, but they didn't actually do that. I did my best to be calm and polite, but assertive. I think the manager chef could have just grabbed some $3 cheddar from the shelves or just ordered the provolone or American if it was actually there without a fuss. That said, I also acknowledge that this is the pettiest thing I've done in a long time. And even though it's a year old, my partner feels like I was a major jerk. You were. I feel like it was a silly autism story. Am I the a-hole, or is the chef the a-hole, or is everyone? And then dill pickle chips like hamburgers, none of this pickle spear on the side nonsense. At Subway, the workers just say, we don't have cheddar, is American okay? And I say, yes, and we move on. Sometimes they don't ask and they just put yellow cheese on it, and that's fine. I can adjust my cheese preference to suit what is available. Provolone is not a cheddar-like alternative. I blame this whole thing on New York deli ideas of what a sandwich should be. So do you think the guy is the a-hole? I believe he is. Yeah. There's no doubt on this one. You don't think he's an a-hole? Yeah, the person is already, that's what I said, Heart, yes. Sassy Darcy doesn't think this guy is the a-hole. Sassy, really? Seriously? Wow. Sassy doesn't think that guy is the a-hole. That's crazy. And I don't know what Scooter's thing is. Okay. All right, so let's see. Me and my best friend have known each other for 3 years. About a year ago, she met her boyfriend, and pretty much since, she'll blow me off at every opportunity to spend time with him. If we have plans together, she will ask if her boyfriend can come, or turn it into a couples thing by also inviting my boyfriend. Or most often, she'll just show up with her boyfriend without telling me that he's coming. Drives me crazy. Her boyfriend and my boyfriend were actually friends before we all met, so we do hang out in group settings a lot. But sometimes you just, where do we go here? Sometimes you just want some girl time. On the rare occasion she does hang out alone with me, she texts her boyfriend constantly, as if she's not texting about him. She is talking about him constantly. I gave her grace when they first started dating because I'm aware of how much a new relationship changes your priorities. However, they're now a year in and nothing has changed. They live in the same apartment, they work together, and when they're not together, they're on the phone with each other. All of this to say they pretty much spend 24/7 together. I try to hang out with her one-on-one once every few weeks or so. A few months ago, I asked her if she wanted to have a craft night at my apartment, and I'd get some wine and some activity for us to do. She said yes. We set a date and time. The day of, I went to the store, I got the wine and the craft stuff, and I headed home. I got a text from her that says she doesn't feel good and is going to have to bail. Bad timing on her part, but oh well, what can I do about it? So instead of just sitting home alone drinking a bottle of wine, I do the craft I was supposed to do with her and my boyfriend. My boyfriend talks to her boyfriend that night and checks up on my friend, and her boyfriend actually tells us she's fine and they are just watching a movie. Now, hold on, that doesn't even make sense what they just said there. So instead of just sitting alone, I do the craft I was supposed to do with her, with my boyfriend. Okay. That's it. With my boyfriend, not my boyfriend and her boyfriend. How did I just get that? My boyfriend talks to her boyfriend that night and checks up on my friend. And her boyfriend actually tells us she feels fine. And they're just watching a movie together. Okay, that makes more sense. Where did I see with her boyfriend and my boyfriend? That's crazy. A month after that, she goes out of her way to ask me if we can have a craft night since she missed the last one. And I said, yeah, of course. We set a date and time. The day of, I go to the store, buy a bottle of wine and some craft stuff. And I get it all set up. And 20 minutes before it's crafting time, she texts me and bails. This time, her back just hurts too bad. Well, she must not be telling her boyfriend her lies because he tells my boyfriend that they're actually going to go out that night. So me and my boyfriend do a second craft night together. A week ago, she asks if I want to do another craft night. And I tell her, I really don't want to go and get all this stuff just for her to bail out on me again. And she says, it shouldn't even matter because I do the crafts with my boyfriend, so it's not a waste of money. I tried to explain to her that it is more the more of respect thing than anything. And if I knew I didn't want to, and if I knew I didn't want to hang out the day of, I wouldn't let you go spend money on an activity I had no intention of participating in. She tried to say I was in the wrong for doing all the crafts with my boyfriend instead of trying to reschedule with her. I then explained that it is almost impossible to do anything with her without her bailing to hang with her boyfriend. Now she's mad at me. Am I the a-hole? Let's see what you say. I know what I say. Okay, let's see. Oh, you said and the other guy, a-hole, AF. Okay. Hi, Pet Nanny Nancy. Is that person the a-hole or not? Forget that expensive grill. I'm going to buy the steak ingredients, though. What expensive grill? All of those Blackstone grills making food keep popping up in my feed, and I want that Philly cheesesteak right now. What? Now, don't make me hungry right now because I didn't have dinner, so stop it. She is the a-hole, the bailer. No, not the a-hole. Yes, I believe the bailer is the a-hole. The friend that bailed. She's an a-hole. Yeah, okay. We agree on that. All right, let's see. Okay, let's look at this one, okay? My sister is pissed at me, so I figured I should come on here and talk about this. Okay. No, hold on a second. My mom owns a house that she got. Wait, what? This doesn't even make sense. No, I'm sorry. This doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. It's not even grammatically like a person. Okay. Last weekend, we were out at a restaurant with our kids. And this couple they're both 38. And their kids are both older than 10. When we were there, like usual, my wife had a good amount of food. And I made a joke saying, "Dang, you still eating?" And yes, she actually was eating a lot. She had all of hers and the rest of mine and whatever the kids didn't eat. I didn't mean it maliciously. And my wife is really healthy, so it's not like I was saying anything is wrong with her eating like that. I said that while she was eating part of her meal. And when I said that, she just stopped eating and had the waiter collect our food shortly after. And she was quiet the whole ride. She seemed really annoyed with me while I was trying to talk to her. We got home. She told me she didn't like that joke. And I knew she doesn't like that. But then I even forgot I said that, and I responded by saying that it was just a remark. I wasn't making fun of her, and she knows that. I don't know why it's such a big deal to her, because she knows she's not fat. She said I wasn't hearing her, and we just laid in silence the rest of that night. Am I the a-hole? She was kind of miffed the following morning, but by now she's far forgotten about the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe I was in the wrong here. Now, let's go back to exactly what he said, okay? Dang, you still eating? I know what you all are going to say. Well, Scooter, come on. He shouldn't say that, says Rochelle. Maybe he's just stupid, says the heart. Hi, Pet Nanny. How are you? How's it going? I think the wife overreacted, says heart. Okay. That's a rude remark to say, says Rochelle. Dang, you still eating? Oh, calm down. What'd you answer? Yes, buddy, you are. Okay. It was rude, says heart. Okay. All right. Dang, you still eating, girl? All right. Okay, calm down, everybody. Just calm down, everyone. Okay, let's see. All right, here's the thing. So the thing is that I don't trust my family anymore since my dad died. My mom and brother have been very sneaky with my dad's estate. I don't have access to anything. And not talking about money or properties. Even just information. Every time I ask about a will, or if I dare to question where the money is coming from, or how they can suddenly afford expensive brand new clothes and trips, they make me feel shitey, as if I'm accusing them of stealing or something. The thing is, it's very obvious they are hiding all the information because they don't trust me, or they're doing something bad, and I haven't given them any reasons not to trust me, so I'm playing the same game. I'm trying to create an income for myself because I left my job and my whole life behind after my dad passed away so that I could be close to my family and help them to take care of my dad's farm and animals. So I'm using the property, I'm taking care or to organize events, that way I can generate an income to keep taking care of this place, and hopefully in the future I can get a percentage from my pocket. But the other day they were asking me why I was so busy during the weekends and why during the week I do nothing but deep clean everything. And I said it was because I like to keep it clean. I like to make it nice. I felt terrible about lying, but I also didn't feel comfortable telling the truth because I knew they would create drama about me becoming selfish or something. Do you even understand what the heck they're talking about? I don't. That's the most stupid thing. What are they keeping clean? What are they doing? Okay, here we go. I was in the Home Depot the other day with my 2 dogs. Normally I don't bring them, but I had to in this circumstance. It was too hot to leave them in the car. One is part Shih Tzu and the other is a terrier mix, and they're very calm in public and they follow me perfectly. They're very friendly, and I don't mind people engaging with them, and the dogs like it too. My problem is when people call the dogs, making kissing noises to try to get them to come to them, or they start petting them without asking. Usually adults. The majority of kids ask. Anyway, I was walking in the Home Depot and one of them stopped to smell something. So I gave him the command to keep going. And this guy starts directing my dog in a playful way to keep going too. So we ended up ahead of him, and I decided to stop so the guy can get past me, so we didn't hold him up or anything. But instead of passing me, he bends down and starts engaging my dogs and petting them without even so much as a look at me for approval. So I let it happen, and this is how the conversation went. Him: "Ooh, you guys are so cute. Is this one a Shih Tzu?" Me: "Yes." Him: "And the other one?" Me: "Isn't." Him finally looks at me, expecting me to give a real answer. Me: blank stare. Guess he got the hint and walked away. So what do you think? Too much? Just right? Or not enough? Can't even follow the rules because that's not the answers we're supposed to give. So you are the a-hole. Totally the a-hole. Okay, here's another one. I'm laying in bed on my wedding night, wondering if I'm the a-hole for a family fight that happened today. We had a small, intimate Catholic wedding with 41 guests, followed by dinner. My husband and I intentionally kept it small. Though we did invite some extended family to honor our parents, my family is very small and complicated. Most of it comes from my dad's side, where there's a history of addiction and mental illness. The only people I'm truly close with are my aunt and her daughter, my cousin who was the bridesmaid. The rest of that side of the family is pretty distant. I have another aunt who struggles with addiction. We see her once a year at Christmas. I invited her mostly to honor my dad, but I didn't invite her adult son, Jeff. I barely know him and I only see him once a year. Well, this aunt didn't show up to the wedding, which honestly didn't surprise me. But after the ceremony, my mom asked if I invited her son. And when I said no, she got upset, walked off. I got the sense my parents thought the aunt didn't come because I didn't invite her son. Later, at dinner, my other aunt told me that aunt that didn't come due to her own personal issues. Relieved, I went to share that news with my parents, who were sitting with my in-laws. But they doubled down and said I was selfish and disrespectful for not inviting her son. I got frustrated because, to me, both that aunt and her son are not really part of my life. At some point, things escalated, and my mom thought I told her to leave, but I didn't. She then raised her glass and said, "Congratulations," slammed it down, and walked out. We stepped out to talk, eventually smoothed things over, but I told them I wasn't going to spend the rest of the night focused on them. My mom left during dinner to cry in the car. It was embarrassing. People noticed, they asked questions, and they tried to comfort me on what was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life. And now my parents are texting me saying they love me, and I feel torn. I understand they might feel guilt, but I also feel like this was completely out of line. Am I the a-hole for not inviting my cousin, and for how this all played out? Let's see what you guys are saying. I don't know, my chat is like really behind. It's your wedding, invite who you want. That's unreal and selfish. MJ. That's cute, Debbie. What? Your name is going to be changed? What are you talking about, to Classy Granny? What is she talking about? What name? Hi, Matt. Yeah, but it's not cool if she invited the one aunt and then she invited the other aunt, but she didn't invite the kid. I don't know. It's not cool, though. But I don't know. She doesn't say anything about her husband. Why is she laying on the bed? Where's her husband? I don't even believe this whole story. I think she just made it up. I think then she is the a-hole. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm waiting at the airport and I need to know if I effed up or not. This week, my daughter, she's in middle school, lost a classmate. My daughter has not taken it well. And overall, this is her first experience where someone she knows dying. The whole class was excused from school today. The funeral's happening right now. I unfortunately could not be there. I tried, but my PTO was denied and we cannot lose this job. I flew out Wednesday night. I'm coming back now. Our daughter's a mess. She was friends with the girl that passed away. The plan was for my wife, she's unemployed at the moment, to take her to the funeral mass and just be there. My wife is more spiritual than the average person and hates all things with the dead, funerals, viewing, and so on. This one is only a mass. No viewing. She believes in ghosts and will avoid funerals like the plague. We discussed it on Wednesday, and she said she would take our daughter and then go to the gravesite. I got a call from my daughter sobbing that she wasn't going to the funeral. My wife was refusing to take her, and when I got her to answer my call, she told me she can't do it. She's scared to go. I called up my mom and asked her to pick up my daughter and take her to the funeral. My mom left work and took her, and we're there now. I got a call from my wife after, with her crying because my mom tore her a new one. The gist was that my mom called her a bad parent, and that is so effed up that she couldn't take out her daughter to the funeral of her classmate. She wants me to make my mom apologize to her, and I told her my mom was right. That this was something that our daughter needed, and she effed up. That she wasn't acting like a parent because of her fear of the dead. All she needed to do was stay through a mass. We got into a huge phone call argument, and now she's calling me a big D. My mom is apparently getting texts, and I told her to not let our daughter know that we are fighting, and if she could look after her for the day, and she agreed. Okay, now, is he the a-hole? No, he's not the a-hole, Hart said. She should have put her feelings aside for her daughter. No, the mom is the a-hole. Okay. These parents behaving that way at her wedding is horrible, said Hart. Oh, you're still on the other one. The parents shouldn't have acted like that about it, she says. Rochelle said it's her wedding day, so mom needs to take a chill pill and be happy for her daughter, not thinking of herself, but that's kind of rude that she doesn't invite her cousin. The mom is the a-hole. The mom, which mom? The mom of the kid, not the mom of not the grandma that took her and took off work to take her. Because it gets confusing with the two moms. We'll just say the wife. Because it's saying the wife and the mom. I don't think the mom is the a-hole. The mom took off freaking work. The wife doesn't even work. Okay. A lot of it. Yeah, well, I mean, the wife doesn't even work, and she could have taken her to the mass. And I don't understand why he calls her spiritual, because she doesn't sound very spiritual. At all. At all. Okay, here we go. From the outside, everything she does, her mother-in-law, sounds nice. Okay, she says her mother-in-law is involved in everything with her pregnancy. Everything sounds nice, and she wants to help, but it feels like she's really inserting herself into everything, and I can't breathe. This is a very wanted IVF pregnancy. For example, she's already bought almost all the baby clothes months in advance. Now I feel like, what's left for me? I was really looking forward to choosing things and nesting. Now it feels pointless to buy anything because we already have everything. It makes me wonder, am I even the mother here? I'm grateful, but I feel robbed of the experience. There was also a moment that stuck with me. She asked about a baby item, and I told her I preferred something else, and I even sent a link. And she still bought the one she wanted. It made me feel like my opinion doesn't even matter. She also wants to be involved in choosing bigger items like the stroller, and when I mention something I like, she'll say, "No, this one's better." Maybe it is. Maybe it's more practical, but maybe my choices should matter too. I don't know. She calls almost every day. She brings food constantly. And while I'm grateful, It's never just dropping something off. It turns into long conversations, advice, and stories about her pregnancies and births. Even when helpful, it's draining. I don't get mental space, and I just want to rest. I'm trying to be nice and avoid drama, but it's building up, and I feel overwhelmed and irritated. My husband doesn't seem to realize it or doesn't want to upset his mom, so he isn't setting any boundaries. We planned a day just for us, and he showed up with his parents after we agreed it would be just us, even when we already planned something with them the next day, and that really hurt. It feels like I'm not being prioritized in my own pregnancy. At this point, I feel overwhelmed, suffocated, guilty, and angry. It isn't the hormones. Am I overreacting? Is it the hormones? Am I overreacting? Am I the a-hole? How do I set boundaries without damaging the relationship? I'm happy this baby will be loved, but I also feel like I'm disappearing from this experience that should be mine too. Okay. She is way overstepping. The husband is the a-hole. He needs to talk to his parents. Well, okay. Maybe she should just be grateful. The lady's bringing her food. I don't know. The lady's bringing her food. She bought all these clothes. She could still buy her own clothes if she doesn't like some of the clothes. She's not like malicious. She's not making fun of her. I don't know. She didn't talk at all about her mother, what they're doing. She's just trying to make it nice. Oh, maybe it's her first grandchild and she's over the moon. Right? She's just trying to make it nice. That's it. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, this is bad. Okay. All right. So a few nights ago, I wanted to go hang out with my best friend because she was feeling very depressed and hadn't gotten back. She just got back from the mental hospital. I'm not allowed to leave the house without permission, despite me being 19, because it's not safe out there, and I live in a bad neighborhood. I asked my mom if I could go out and comfort her. and she said she didn't want me to hang out with her because she's insane. I immediately got pissed, and I felt so angry about what she said that I planned a way to leave. I started sobbing on the floor, pretty much dry heaving, and my mom asked me WTF was wrong with me. And I told her that because I didn't go out immediately to see her, she relapsed. I won't say with what, because violence rules, but I did use a substance. My mom started freaking out because she herself has dealt with her own relapses and breakdowns, which, yeah, if she'd been in the same boat, why is she saying my best friend is insane? And told me I could go over there. I head out and we chill and hang out the rest of the night. Just yesterday, my mom brought it up again while we were at Aldi's getting food for a picnic with her. And even though I told her about the whole I used you relapsing as an excuse, she literally just laughed and said, I have the worst instinct responses ever. She accidentally let it slip that she never relapsed. Immediately, my mom starts yelling at me, saying that's a serious subject, and I never should have used it as an excuse. But dang, I've just gotten so tired of her. I'm not allowed to leave the house ever, even to work down the street to the grocery store. Matter of fact, I've never even been to a store on my own before. I've never been anywhere on my own before, never even taught how to drive, never had a phone. My phone not completely regulated, never been able to just go to a friend's house to comfort her. I was tired of being coddled and kept in a cage. But I used the worst excuse that was a personal blow to my mom, and even though my friend didn't mind, she didn't deserve that. She tells me it's not my fault, but I don't know anymore. Am I the a-hole? You're a liar. That should make you the a-hole. Oh my gosh, in the middle of an Aldi's. Yeah, I've got to go change my ice pack, but you guys can figure that one out. Hold on a minute. I've got to go change the ice pack. These ice packs have the worst. I wondered what the heck I was smelling. It smells like something like this plastic when you're a kid, like this. I don't know what the heck it smells like. It something, some kind of freaking plasticky thing. It smells like a Barbie doll or something. I don't know what it is. But I don't like them. Let me get a one, two. Okay. Hi, baby. You want to try one of these hair slices? Here, baby. really. Okay. I'm having an ugly fruit. It's dried pears with nothing else. Single ingredient. Hi, Julianne. Okay, let me find another one. Okay. Well, let me see. Let's see here. I want to find a good one. Okay, let's see. All right, okay, here we go. Let's try this one. So, something to know about me is that I love Chipotle. It's an inside joke for me at this point to even post it on my spam Instagram stories about whenever I get it. So it's been about 2 weeks since I've had it. I've been craving it recently. I wanted to get some the other day, but I couldn't, so I decided to wait to get it today. And my mom comes in and asked me what I wanted for dinner, and I told her Chipotle, and she groans because it's what I usually ask for, which what I wanted for dinner. And every time my family asks, I say that because it's what I truly and genuinely want to eat the most of the time. She asked if I want Applebee's. Instead, I said no. I said no, because if we're eating at Applebee's, I'd rather eat in, which we weren't going to do because my dad wouldn't be able to come. After I said that, she stormed out of my room in anger and told me to just ask my dad for Chipotle. And then my dad shows up and starts lecturing me on how I can never choose where to eat and how I can never pick a food place, and I'm confused, and tell him how I literally picked Chipotle. He says I'm mean for always picking that place over and over again whenever they ask me what I want to eat. I was just confused and asked, why ask me then if you don't like what I choose for dinner? And he didn't respond to that. And he just walks off. And him and my mom start complaining about me in the next room on how my grades are bad, A, B plus in my classes, and the shame I bring on them. Anyway, before they left, I was getting ready to go with them before my mom stopped me and was like, no, just send your dad your order. We don't want you in the car. And I just awkwardly sat there while they both got ready, still complaining how rude I was for wanting Chipotle. It doesn't. I hate when I read something that doesn't even make sense. That is just dumb. It's not even. That's not even worth it. People don't know how to write. Okay, let's see. Dumb. So dumb. Okay, here's one. At my workplace, a few coworkers organized a group gift for our manager's birthday. The original plan was simple. Everyone who wanted to participate would chip in a small amount for a gift card and a card. I agreed, and I sent my contribution right away. A couple of days later, the organizer messaged the group saying they decided to upgrade the gift to something a little more expensive, and asked everyone to send additional money, and I replied saying I'd prefer to stick with the original plan since it's what I agreed to. A few others said the same thing. The organizer said it would look bad if some people didn't contribute equally, and started listing names of people who hadn't sent the extra money, including mine. I wasn't comfortable with that, so I asked them to remove my name from the group gift entirely and refund my original contribution. They pushed back and said it would be awkward to remove my name from the gift. They had already been planned. I insisted, and eventually they refunded me, took my name off. Now a couple of coworkers are saying I made things unnecessarily complicated, that I should have just gone along with it to avoid tension. From my perspective, I agreed to one thing, and they changed it after the fact. Am I the a-hole for withdrawing from the group gift after they increased the amount without everyone agreeing? I say, no, you're not. That's my take there. No, you're not. I don't know, there's nothing really good over there anymore. Let's see what else. They have a list to everyone. Parents are the ALs. Oh, I think you're behind, Julianne. I think Julianne is behind. Okay. What time is it? It's 2 something. Probably should do the word game, and I still haven't. Where's the word game? Where's the word cookies? What happened to it? Oh boy, I see. It's over here. Okay. Word cookie time. Uh-oh. Good night, all. Good night, Jen. Good night, Jen. Can't believe we had 2 advancements last night like that. It was so crazy. There's only 2 more days in the month. Get out of here. Stop it. Stop! Okay. It's not right. It's not right. Heart, you're behind. Yeah. Hi, Murder. She's really behind. Oh, yeah. And, right. Landward? Okay. Landward. Landward bound. Apron. Piano, you got? Who's got piano? Murder? Rip. Okay, I got that already. Nap, Pro, Rowan. Yeah, I tried all those. Okay. Now let's see what this is. P Pro. Paranoia. Very good. Murder. Very good. Ruse we got, don't we? Yep. Ruin Ruse we got. Suffers. Oh, that's a good one. Suffer. And suffers right there. Right in a row. We tried rough. We tried roughs. Fuss. We've got up there. Furs. Yeah, it's not there. It's in the refuse. No. There's not another E. Surfs, yeah. Yep, that's right. Look higher. Look higher. Fuser. Which one? Busser, that wasn't there. Mm-mm. Let me see. Oh, you and I got the same time. Murder. Like her, I already tried. Killer? Who said that? Who said killer? Heart. Ryle, I have lie, liar, liker, I had that, kill. Okay. Cal. I don't think so. Likelier. Very good. Eel. Liar. What's a liar? Oh, weak. And what about real? And what about elk? I tried. Elk is there. L I E R. O I. Let me see. L-E-E-R. That's what it is. Lear. And you're saying keel? Ah, okay. Libel I've got up there. Label. Okay. Bile. Okay. Lab. Billable. Billable. Very good. Lie. Good. Lab is not there. Bib we already put in there. Libel, able, bile. Lab is not there. UL, there's no U. Okay. Bill. Bible. Okay. Hi, Colleen. How are you? How's it going, Colleen? Liable. Very good. Liable. And I don't know, I'm falling asleep. Oh, I'm falling asleep. I got up early today and I've had quite the day. Yeah, me too. I'm tired, Colleen. I had a big thing done today and then I go. I thought I did libel. I did. It's up there. Oh, liable. Okay. Can't even keep my eyes open. You saw my video? Good. I'm glad you did. sleep. I have to go to sleep, guys. I can't get my eyes open. I love you guys. God bless. May the Lord bless you and protect you and give you his peace. Prayers for everyone here. Please pray for my results to be benign. And prayers for all of you guys. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I love you guys. God bless. Take it easy. See you tomorrow.